Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Christy, and I'm here with my 2018 wrap up books 56 to 60. And the first thing that I finished was The Female of the Species by Mindy McGinnis. I've had an eye on this book ever since I saw it everywhere when I was in Manila, and then I didn't buy it because I didn't like how neon the color was. That's how shallow I can be sometimes. But then when I heard a review, I think by Sandy from Sandy Reads a Lot, and like wow, I was blown away. I didn't expect this book to sound or be as deep as it was, and I knew that if she really liked it for the darker kind of subject that it was, that I knew I would like it. So when I read it, like I just devoured this. I finished it a lot sooner than I thought I would, and I just I could really relate to the fact that this is set in a small town, and how like everyone you know, like your parents probably dated each other, and then they know everybody else's family background and stuff, because that's how small my town is really. When you think about it, everybody knows somebody who knows you, if you ask far enough, you know. So that's just one of the things, and I really did enjoy how this wasn't like the typical type of a YA where like a girl and a guy fall in love, the girl has a secret, and then it's just like a crappy secret. But at least with this one, it was more real, and I also like the male character because he was willing to acknowledge that he had his personality was sort of, there was a duality to his character. Like he knew he had this good guy thing going for him, but he also knew that he was like a sort of bad boy, like he couldn't really commit to one girl. So I like that because it's real. Not that all men cheat, but what I mean is like they were willing to acknowledge that everybody here isn't just one, there isn't just one side to a person or to these characters. They have two faces. You know what I mean? Like we have our public face and we have our private face. So that is what I really did like about this, and I really recommend reading this if you want something different than like the typical like YA. So after that, I read Muriel Sparks' The Girls of Slender Means. This is about the May of Tech club, which is sort of like a glorified dormitory, and this is like a story set during the end of World War One or two, two, because it's 1945, and it's featuring about all the women who live in this sort of dorm, and how they all coexist, and how there's this one guy who just is obsessed with like all of them. It was a very short story. It wasn't that hard to read. I didn't really get much out of it, and it was alright. After that, I picked up The Bloody Chamber by Angela Carter. This is a compilation, I think, of fairy tale retellings. I buddy read this with Kevin from Storyglyph, whose link I will leave down below. You guys should check him out. He's a new booktuber, and he's really got that whole reading hungry vibe that everybody had at the beginning. When everyone starts a book too, you're just like, yeah, I want to read all the things and buy all the things. So, but besides that, he actually has, as a sort of new-ish reader, he has very good opinions, and he's got good questions, and yeah, I really like his channel, and so you guys please check him out. Anyway, so this is a lot of short story, fairy tale retellings. There are at least two Beauty and the Beast type thing retellings here. They were okay, but the first story though, that one was really cool because I never heard about it before, and apparently it was based off like Bluebeard's castle, or like I'm not sure if this is a spoiler, but this guy marries a couple girls and he kills them. So it's kind of like that movie with Tom Hiddleston and the girl who was in Alice in Wonderland. Scarlet Crimson Peak. Crimson Peak. So it's like Crimson Peak, but yeah, it's like Crimson Peak. I think minus the big machine thingy that he was working on. But other than that, though, there were there were a lot of similar themes here, like purity and what if you being pure will like help you survive the story. Lots of murder. A lot of dead bodies. Yeah, that's it. If you like really dark stuff, I really do suggest you read some Angela Carter because she's really good. And then after that, I wanted something quick, just like the short story. I mean the fairy tale retellings. I keep saying short stories. The Diving Bell and the Butterfly by Jean-Dominique Bauby. He was a actor and former what's it? He worked as editor-in-chief of French Elle. He had a stroke, and thanks to modern science, they were able to keep him alive. But unfortunately, he suffered what is called locked-in syndrome, where your body literally cannot move, and you're sort of locked in your body. So his mind was very much active, but his body just would not move. So he could only blink the left eyelid. So he dictated this whole book by blinking his left eyelid. So I have never read a book where every single letter was specifically chosen to go somewhere. Like every letter, every word, every sentence is so important. It's like the most important thing, because every letter gets you to a word that gets you to a sentence that describes his life or a memory. And it's called The Diving Bell and the Butterfly because a diving bell, or this is just the English translation, but it's more like, you know, those old time scuba diver suits with like the helmet thing, and you could move in them. That was sort of like symbolizing his body where he can't move, but the butterfly was his mind because it was very much active. So he wrote this book to sort of symbolize like, hey, I'm not dead, I'm still here. Unfortunately, I think he passed away, I believe a couple days after this was published. So correct me if I'm wrong if anybody has read this, but this is a really great book, and it's basically a memoir with short chapters. And so how he would dictate this was by dictating it with his left eyelid, blinking towards a certain number of letters that were in the French language that were mostly used, and he would memorize the paragraphs at night so that the person he was dictating it to, he could tell them the next day when they would arrive for visiting hours. So I think that's really amazing. This is it's so short, but it's just, you know, it's something a whole lot different than anything else. And finally, for book number 60, I read Every Heart a Doorway by Seanan McGuire because I also wanted something short, and I know that this was very short. And this book did a lot of showing rather than just telling, and I love that because it took you in where you they just let you assume that you know what they're talking about, and in that way you just get it. Like immediately you know that it's like, you know, like Narnia. They walk into a world and then they either come back or they stay out forever. But with this one, it talked about different worlds, and so there's this school for like wayward children, and they've all been to these different worlds, and nobody else will believe them, and all their parents think they're crazy, but really they're not crazy, they just want to go back. And it was just nothing like I've read before, and it was both dark, but at the same time it had this flutter of hope, like this little element of magic that just made it almost believable. And I can't believe I didn't read this sooner, but it's just really good, and it's not that hard to read either, and it's very fast, and I just yes, I just really liked it. I really don't know what else to say about it. other than the fact that I don't really want to spoil it because it is so short. And I think the other books in this sort of series are more like companions rather than sequels, so I really want to get my hands on them. So yeah, that's it. Those are all the books I read. I read a lot of great things, and let me know if you've read any of them or what you think about them. And thank you guys for watching. Thank you for sticking around, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.